Hey guys, this is TJ Hafer for IGN with a preview of Total War 3 Kingdoms. Today I'm going to be showing you Yuan Shu, one of the warlords you can play as, and a couple of the different paths he can take through the kind of early and mid game.
Yuan Shu watches the ascent of Dongzhuo and believes he has the means and the right to wield such power instead.
He is one of the more difficult warlords. As you can see, his difficulty rating is shown as very hard. He starts in kind of a dicey geographic location. He's not in the best diplomatic position, and he's kind of set up for a feud with his brother Yuan Shu, who is more powerful than he is, and usually, in my experience, ends up being one of the major power players in most of the campaigns I've played.
The fires rise.
So first off, we're going to be looking at what it's like to kind of play him as a jerk, where he's scheming and trying to undermine his enemies and take power. Kind of the, you could call it the traditional Total War way, just beating everybody up. And then we'll skip ahead to the mid-game a little bit and see what the game might look like if we had taken a little bit of a different path.
We must crush the Yellow Turbans. They are as much a blight on China as the tyrant.
If I may, your kin, Yuan Shu, may be able to...
What of him? He commands this ineffective coalition. They are done. The bandit queen is greater of spirit and strength than my indecisive cousin.
An unlikely friend, my lord, but an option nonetheless. An imperial destiny awaits you, my lord. If you cannot defend the throne, seize it.
So this is one of the first major decisions we're going to face. This is a few turns in, and it's something that really sets Three Kingdoms apart from other Total War games. We have these kind of story-based dilemmas that are based on the romance of the Three Kingdoms novels or on the historical records of the Three Kingdoms. And here we've got a beef between Liu Biao, who is one of the kind of bigger power players at the start of the game, and Sun Jian, who would go on to, or his descendants would go on to found one of the three kingdoms that give the Three Kingdoms period its name. So these are both pretty powerful guys, and we have an option of whether to throw in our lot with Sun Jian, who's going to promise to help us against Yuan Shu, our brother, or we can, refuse his proposal. And it'll tell you here, it says follow the story, so it'll tell you which one is actually what happened in the novel or in history, or in some cases both. Not always. There was some embellishment that went on. So we're going to choose to side with Sun Jian against Liu Biao, because what we've been doing for the last several turns is basically trying to undermine his relationship with his vassals, so that they will maybe want to join an alliance with us once Liu Biao's power base has been eroded. So some very kind of Machiavellian scheming stuff going on here.
Rejoice, your lord has returned. With heaven!
But as you can see, I'm not the only one who can scheme here. As I abandoned this siege to go after a target of opportunity, it looks like Liu Biao was actually waiting right over here to ambush me. Luckily, his ambush failed, so I'm not going to have to fight an ambush battle where I start off with like a column of troops in a horrible tactical position, but I am still going to have to deal with this, so let's jump in.
Move! Missiles! Fire!
Then, of course, as it often does when you're playing in romance mode, which is the more embellished mode, as opposed to records mode, which is more historical feeling, it often comes down to a duel between the commanders. So that's what we got going on here.
success looms large!
I cannot beat their strength to action.
So we won, just barely, and that's going to kind of set us on the path to cementing our dominance militarily over the area of central China here. But we're going to take a look a little deeper into the mid-game and at what might happen if we follow a little bit of a different path. So as you can see in this alternate timeline, we're actually friends with Liu Biao, the guy we were just beating up on earlier. And we're going to try to unite China in a slightly less bloody way. One of the ways you can do that is if you capture Chang'an, which is the former capital of Dongzhuo the Tyrant, who is dead by this point. You can actually seize control of the Child Emperor, and you become the Prime Minister of the Han Empire, which basically lets you annex former Han territories for free without a fight, which is pretty cool. So if you want to go for a little bit more of, I guess you couldn't really say pacifist. There really are no true pacifists of the Three Kingdoms warlords, hence the name warlords. But this is an interesting kind of more diplomatic route you can go, where you can go for Chang'an, you can take the city, you can seize the Child Emperor, make him your puppet, much as Dongzhuo did, and then just start gobbling up free territory from whatever's left of the Han Empire, at which point you won't have won the game yet, but if you get to it before it gets conquered by other people, if you get to enough of it before it gets conquered by other people, you should be in a pretty powerful position. If you're not the largest faction on the map, you'll definitely be one of the largest factions on the map, and that'll put you into a position where most likely you're going to be starting to hit the end game, which is where the kingdoms that the game is named after are going to start to form. You're going to have yourself and a couple other rulers declaring themselves Emperor of China and then fighting it out to see who actually gets to keep that honor and who will be relegated to the history books and the history video games. So there you have it, two possible paths you can take to power as Yuan Shu. Each of the warlords has these kind of branching possible storylines that are a little bit more guided than other Total War games if you want them to be, with these major story decisions. Kind of can feel like a choose-your-own-adventure book if you choose to play it that way. But it's been a lot of fun either way. And for more on Total War 3 Kingdoms, keep it right here on IGN.